So what we're going to do right now is our division, but then like one extra step. So if you were okay with the synthetic division, it's going to be that, just one extra step. Your fundamental theorem of algebra says your degree, which is the highest power, and it's usually the first one because they're typically in your countdown, the degree equals the number of complex zeros. Now that word complex throws everybody off because it sounds like it means super difficult. Complex simply means real and imaginary, means all of them. So the degree is the number of answers you're going to get. So we're going to actually solve these and find all our answers. So what this means is, can you look at number 1? What's the highest power you see? You will get 4 answers. How about this one? You will get 4 answers. How about this one? You will get 3 answers. Okay, so on and so forth. I make that worth credit on the test. How many answers? I put a blank. How many answers are you going to get? And you put that number, and then I have a blank for the answers. Okay. Other good news, you get a calculator for this. Now, let's be really clear. Not Desmos. I don't want to see anyone touch Desmos because you don't get Desmos in the AP Calculus exam. This class is intended to prepare you for AP Calculus. You get this on your test. Now, I don't need everyone to go grab one. I just want you to watch for right now, okay? What you're going to do is go to y equals. Do you see this button here that says y equals? And I'm going to type this equation in. Now, the way you get x on here is, do you see this button right here that says x, comma, t, comma, theta, comma, n? Do you see that button? Okay, you're going to have to be able to do this. This is your variable key. That's what we'll put x on there. I'm literally just going to type this in, so just watch. It's 2x to the 4th minus 7x to the 3rd minus 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. Do you see how I just literally typed it in exactly the way it looks on the piece of paper? Now, your calculator should be at an okay window, but just in case it's not, do you see this button that says zoom? If you hit that and hit zoom 6, do you see what that's called? What is 6 called? Standard, we'll put it to the 10 by 10 window. Now, what we're looking for, and you have to be patient while it graphs it, is where it touches the x-axis. So, do you see a place where this touches the x-axis on a nice whole number? Do you see how it's 4 right there? 4 is the number that goes in the little box, and then you divide it out. Okay, so go ahead and put 4 in the little box. Check if your countdown is in order. So is the countdown good? Yes, okay, so 2, -7, -2, -7, -4. And here is the awesome part about this. The remainder will be 0. Because if it is a 0 of the function, it means it divides out perfectly. This is fantastic because when you take the test, you already know what the answer is going to be. It's like having an answer key to the test while you take the test. The remainder is going to be what? 0. Go do it. You don't get 0, you done goofed. Okay? Now, I do get this. People do this, and I'm like, what are you doing? They won't get 0 because they'll have dropped a negative sign somewhere or made an arithmetic mistake, but they'll just write 0 anyway. And I'm like, no, all the rest of your numbers are wrong. So everything you do thereafter, if you don't get 0, go figure out what the problem was. Don't just write 0. I mean, I'll bend over backwards to give you a half a point, but the thing is, everything from then on is going to be wrong. So if you, okay, let's clarify. If you don't get 0, figure out what the mistake was and fix it. Don't just write 0. Okay, but did you get 21210? Sounds like I'm talking about a zip code. All right, now I'm going to go back to my calculator. There's actually one more. Let me wake it back up. Do you see that one right there? See how it's in between? What do you guess that one is? But it went to the left, so it's actually -1/2. Now, I'm going to put -1/2 in the little box. You see how it lines up with those? And we're going to do it again. What is the remainder going to be? 0. And can you also, before you go do that, hold on a second. Do you see how the coefficient here is 2? That's how I know it's going to be a half. What if that was a 3? Then this would be a third. What if that was a 4? It'd be a fourth. It's going to match, okay? But go do this. You will get 0, I promise. If you do it right, it will end up being 0. My line wasn't very straight, so I'm going to redraw that. But you will end up with 0. It's great because you already know the answer before you even do the question. Awesome. Just hold on. You should get 2, 0, 2, 0. I also always get somebody that wants to put a 0 here and here. Fill it up with zeros if you want to. I don't care. Did you do that? I know. I've been doing this a really long time. I've seen it all. Okay. So like if you want to do that, you can. But did you get 2, 0, 2, 0? We're all on the same page here? Okay. Now, do you remember how I said when you divide out, you start with 1 less? When you put your x's back in? We're actually going to start with 2 less y. We did it twice. So look, do you see how this is to the 4th? That means when we put the x's back, we're going to start to the 2nd. And you need to keep going until you get a squared. You need to keep going until you get it down to 2. Now, I ran out of room, so I'm going to write this off to the side. It's going to be 2x squared. This would be plus 0x. And you can write plus 0x if your heart desires, but I would kind of rather you just skip it. There are no x's. And then plus 2. And then you want to set that equal to 0, and we're going to keep going and solve it. Yes, ma'am. Because we're going to actually not stop that. That's a really good question. Do you remember how when there was a coefficient, we divided these? And you certainly can if you want. We're not just writing like that answer, though. We're going to keep going and find all the zeros. So you don't have to worry about that step in this case, but you can. Because it's going to happen here mathematically anyway. What would you do to start solving this? How do you get rid of a plus 2? Okay, so 2x squared equals negative 2. And, well, not yet. Divide by 2. Negative 2 divided by 2. Negative 1. Then we're going to, and when you put a square root, you have to put plus or minus. The square root of 1 is 1. But because it's negative, it would be 1i. Now, real quick, how many answers did we say we were going to get? 4. How many is this? 2. It's positive I and it's negative I. That's only 2 answers, and we said we were going to get 4. What are the other 2? 4 and negative a half. So just make sure that you write them so you get a total of 4 answers. Now, to tie it all in and have a full circle moment here, do you see how only the 4 and the negative a half show up on the calculator? That's because the other 2 are imaginary. Isn't that cool? It's so cool. Isn't that cool? Okay, let's try it again. I'm going to go to my y equals, clear that out. I want to have time to do a couple more at least to show you. And I'm going to type this in. X to the 4th minus 5x to the 3rd. I'm not going to read the whole thing because that's annoying, but do you guys see how I'm just typing it in? Do you see how I did that? All right. Graph or zoom 6. Be patient while it graphs it, and we're looking for where it touches the x-axis. So, hey, guys, do you see a place where this touches the x-axis on a nice whole number? Do you see negative 2 right there? And 5. It actually doesn't matter which one you do first. So do you want to do the negative 2 or do you want to do the 5? Negative 2. Okay. Put negative 2 in the little box. Either way, it doesn't matter because what's your remainder going to be? Isn't that cool? You know the answer. All right. How's our countdown? Is our countdown good? Good. Okay. 1, negative 5, negative 5, 23, 10. I'm going to be quiet. You go find 0. What was that? But yeah. Well, if you just write 0 at the end, that's not helpful. You have to actually have all the other numbers. All right, and then, so we did the -2. What was the other one that was on a nice whole number? 5, that one right there. So you're gonna put 5 in the little box. Do it again, you'll get 0. I promise. If you do it right, you'll get 0. This is like one of my absolute favorite topics to teach because everyone feels comfortable with it because they know what the answer is going to be. It's like knowing the answer ahead of time. You just have to get there. Did you get 1, -2, -1? 0. Okay. Now we started with x to the 4th. So when we put the x's back in, good. So it's 1x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0. And we're going to complete the square. It's what you learned last time. So you're going to copy down the first 2 terms, leave a gap. What does this turn into when I move it to the other side? Plus 1. Divide by 2 and square. It'll be plus 1. The whole point is so you can write it as blank squared. What goes in the blank? X minus 1 equals 1 plus 1 is 2. And then just keep on going. We're almost there. Square root. You'll have x minus 1 equals plus or minus square root of 2 is just square root of 2. And then the last step. How many answers is that? 2. How many were we supposed to get? 4. What are the other 2? The -2 and the 5. It's big. Yeah, you weren't in the room when I said that. It's the highest power tells you how many you're going to get. But it bears repeating. It's called the fundamental theorem of algebra, so it's kind of important. So, hey guys, how many answers are we going to get for this one? 3. Hold on while I type it in. Just eyes up here. I'm going to type it in for you. Negative x to the 3rd minus 2x squared. What is it? Plus 5x plus 10. So we're looking for where this touches the x-axis. What is that? -2? Does that look like -2 to you guys? Right there? Okay. Well, you know what? We'll find out because what should the remainder be? 0. So, well, bless you. We're about to find out. All right. Is the countdown okay? Yep. -1, -2, 5, 10. You should get 0. Did anyone, does it come out to 0? Okay. Sometimes the graphs can look a little weird. And it's like, wait, hold on, what's going on here? All right, but that did come out to 0. Now, we don't need to do it a second time. In both of these, we divided out twice. The reason why is those were to the 4th. We have to get it down to squared. But we're already down to squared because this one was only 3. So you would have -x squared plus no x's plus 5 equals 0. And from there, you just solve it. Like, just keep going. How do you get rid of a plus 5? -5. Like, just keep going. Like, you just don't stop. You just keep swimming, just keep swimming. All right, what happens to these negatives? Yeah, you divide by a -1, they're going to cancel. I would just scratch them out. And then your last step there, square root. So you get plus and minus square root of 5. That's 2 answers, but there should be a third one, -2. Are there only 2 on the back? Okay, I might skip one of these. We'll do 4 and 5. I'll keep 6 as a warm-up for next time. Okay? We'll do 4 and 5. I'll keep 6 as a warm-up for next time. All right, eyes up here. I'm going to type it in for you. All right, we're looking for where this touches the x-axis. Now, it's going to be this first one here. Do you see how it's in between 0 and 1? It's not a half though. Look at the problem. What do you think it is? Because it's not actually a half. Why would it be a third? Your coefficient is 3. And I think the countdown is good. So just copy those numbers down. Go find 0. I'm going to type in the last one while y'all are doing that to make this go quicker. Oh, whoops. All right, did you get 0?
Yeah. Yes.
47 minus 8 would be 39. A third times 39 is 13. That gives you 0. Okay. Do I need to divide out again, or can I go ahead and put the x's back in? We're good, because it was to the third. So we've got 3x squared minus 24x plus 39 equals 0. Now, in this case, I probably would go and divide them all by 3 just to keep the numbers small. If you divide everything by 3, x squared equals 0. Good. I would do that just to keep the numbers smaller. And we're going to complete the square. So I'm actually going to move up here so I have room. Write down the first 2 terms, leave a gap. When you move that 13 to the other side, it'll be negative 13. Divide by 2 and square. Good. So it'll be blank squared. In the blank will be x minus 4. This side will give you 3. And then just keep going. Just don't stop. Keep on going. Square root. You'll have x minus 4 equals, plus or minus square root of 3. And then add over the 4. That's 2 answers. X equals 1/3 is the other one. And we'll just do number 5 as well. I already typed it in to keep things going here. So I typed that in. Here's the graph. You have to find where it touches the x-axis. So where is that? Do you guys see that there? -3? He was being your spokesperson here, but do you see how it's -3? Okay. Is your countdown good? Yes. And you will get 0. Promise. Because once you're allowed a calculator to type the function in, I can't then take it back away from you. But here, look, like when you get here to 87, like you can probably get there without the calculator. What do you think -3 times 87 is? Yeah, that's a good guess. Yeah, but you're allowed a calculator. All right, now real quick. Do you see how this is to the 4th? So that means now we're to the 3rd, but I need to get it down to square. You can't complete the square without squaring. So I need another one. Why can you do -3 again? What does the graph do there? It bounces, which means it's twice. It's a twin. So do -3 again. Nice job. Gold star for you. When it bounces, it's a twin. All right. So do -3 again. One -10, 29. Okay. So that will be, I'm going to come over here to the side. X squared minus 10x plus 29 equals 0. You put the x's back in and then complete the square. Oh, you're way ahead of me. Hold on a second. I subtract the 29 over. And yes, it will be 25 that you add to both sides. Sorry about the hole in the paper there. Blank squared, what's in the blank? It's minus 5. On the other side, negative 4, good. And then just keep going. Don't stop. Like you have to actually get the answers. Square root. Oh, good. It'll be plus and minus. Heard somebody say it back there. 2i. And as a full circle moment, do you see how we have negative 3 twice, but I don't see any other ones? That's because they're imaginary. So some of you are done already. Wait for me. See, that's what I'm saying. Once you get good at this, you can just churn them out. All right, 5 plus and minus 2i. That's 2 answers, but there's supposed to be a total of 4. And, hey, Miss Cole, do I have to write it twice? Yes, because it counts twice or you don't get the total of 4. Please keep, no, you have to write it twice. Please keep this paper. I'll just use that one as a warm-up for next time.